gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
Sydney James Harcourt is taking a break from being a fooking, sexy, thoughty Rum Tum Tugger in Cats the Jellicle Ball on BroadWAY, which I was lucky enough to see just a couple of months ago. Sydney James Harcourt, how are you doing today?
I'm super gay.
Well, you said before we hit record, are you allowed to sip a protein shake before we hit? And I would say that that's very gay affirming to sip protein. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree, especially to honor Gaga and Doechii releasing Runway, the video. You know, I would feel like pouring it all over my face and doing some like avant-garde like moves on the floor. But, you know, I need the protein, so I'm not going to do that.
And you know what? We cannot waste protein in this economy, Sydney James Harcourt. And I'm glad that you are getting all of your grams. Since the girls are probably going to want to know, what are you tasting? What's the flavor of your protein? Are you brand loyal? Give us the BTS on your protein, girl.
Interestingly, I'm actually having MRE Light, which is a whole food protein, because plant protein doesn't really do it, but I can't have whey because she's lactose. So, yes.
No.
Yes. So, the breakouts. Oh my God. Can't. So, this is banana nut bread, but not by choice. What I want is peanut butter cookie, but apparently so does everyone else in America and the rest of the world. It's a worse crisis, I think, than the Strait of Hormuz. I call it the Gay of Hormuz, that I can't get my peanut butter cookie. But I did get one. I ordered one canister that I found of it while I was just at the gym. So I take minced ginger and I put it in there.
Okay.
And I put 3 frozen strawberries in there, ice, water, and I put a spoonful of peanut butter.
Well, you're making do, and I think we have to announce the official next global pandemic, which is, where is the peanut butter cookie?
Where are we going to get it from?
Well, at least you are feeling fueled with this current flavor and getting all the energy you need to be doing 8 shows a week and one of the highest energy shows on BroadWAY. I have to say, you are not only killing it in Cats the Jellicle Ball. For anybody listening who might not know, Sydney James Harcourt was in the OG cast of Hamilton. You have a stunning home in Michigan. You were raised in Detroit. We got to talk about, you went to Interlochen Arts Academy. I went to camp there for a couple of summers. And you just had an appearance on Dads and Daddies podcast and gave us some horny tea there, which I'm going to be following up on. So let's get into some really hot taupe eeks. Question number 1, is it new for you for people to be asking about your like sex app situation? You felt very comfortable talking about it on Dads and Daddies, but is this something that's new for you, or are people always sort of getting in your grill about your personal life?
No, 100% new. No one has ever cared about anything having to do with my personal life prior to Cats. And it's not something that I'd say I talk about freely in like industry circles.
Right.
Or even, you know, definitely with friends, like, you know, sure. But that's, you know, a smaller circle. And so, but I, you know, had watched a few of the, you know, episodes of Dads and Daddies and knew that, okay, this isn't, you know, a like, so what's your favorite color kind of podcast. And one of the things about Tugger in general that has, you know, changed me, every role I think that you play changes you in some way. It brings out an aspect of your personality that you have to tap into and then like, you know, portray. And one of the things about Tugger is that he just really, really doesn't give a fuck. And he doesn't care what you think. And he is like not at all like caring about slut shaming or anything having to do with that. He does what he does, and there's no doing anything about it. So I made a pact with myself that when I went on Dads and Daddies, the questions that they asked, I was going to just go ahead and answer however I wanted. And, Boomer Banks, who's a friend of mine, I had watched his episode, and that's even how I got like hooked up with them because I saw his episode on there and I commented on, in the comments on one of them, and then they hit me up. I was like, well, it can't get any more revealing than the things that Boomer talked about. So
I mean, listen, I completely co-sign the idea of leaning into the Rum Tum Tugger-ness of no shame. And I identify with you in many ways because I think that, when you're an actor playing a role, you want to obviously like stay employable. And so like there's fears in this industry of like either saying something that might make someone look at you a certain way. And, also we think about like, what would our families say if they were to hear something like that? And, hosting something called That's a Gay Ass Podcast, it's taken me 5 years to get much more comfortable talking about whether it's my own personal life, whether it's just how I feel about sex in general. I think that it really is sort of a healing part of being a creative person, is seeing how it can influence the way you move through the world as a human being, because everything you said on Dads and Daddies was just like so interesting to me and of course sexy. And we will of course be doing a bit follow-up of Andy Cohen towards the end of this, just to give those people a tease. But let's talk about Cat's Jellicle Ball before we get into any more horniness, which really Cat's Jellicle Ball is of course set in the ballroom community. It is by far the most magical production of Cats anybody will ever see, but you're getting to connect with some crazy cool people. In fact, you just posted yesterday or recently that Hugh Jackman came to the show.
Oh yeah.
Was there any sexual tension between the two of you?
maybe one-sided. He was with Sutton and I was just trying to do I've been on Younger, and so we've worked together before, and so I kept it really friendly, but then I'm also just sort of like, it's Hugh Jackman. And so again, you keep it professional, but then how professional can you keep it when you've gotten almost completely naked in front of them?
Truly.
And these are actors as well. So it's not like there was any stiffness or any boundaries. It just was he was just really, really, really friendly. And like, I even want to say like big brotherly, like he recognized that we have a similar type. He played Gaston. He talked about that with me and asked me like how I'm doing, like keeping my size and being able to get workouts in while I'm doing a show that's so cardio heavy. He really understood like the mechanics of the kind of stuff that I have to like think about as, somebody who's doing a body roll in a show. One of the things that happened to me off Broadway was that I was worried that I wasn't going to get like lean enough for like opening night.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I just made it. But girl, the run, it turned me into a skeleton.
Oh,
and
shit.
Like then like I don't like to eat before a show. Like I don't want to have a full stomach. So then like you're eating after the show, but you've got to pack in like 2 meals in order to get enough of like to keep, like muscle on your body. So he got that. And so it really was this kind of like, brother thing. And then and in the moment, I'm just like, so happy, and just everything around Cats and that surrounding Cats is so surreal all the time. And so I'm just in the reality of that moment. And then later you get the pictures back and you see these images of like you and this icon. And it just is like, it comes back to you like, whoa. Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like on a weekly basis, because not only are you standing with Sutton Foster and Hugh Jackman, but then like there's very recent footage of Lin-Manuel Miranda and Andrew Lloyd Webber being on stage with you. Then you have stories about Melissa McCarthy asking to see you backstage. I mean, you are constantly being confronted in the best possible way with these legends. But I can only imagine the sort of like out of body experience it must be. But you seem to be very present through it. I will say though that the horniness on stage and what you're wearing, it's unbelievable to see a Rum Tum Tugger giving what, like, it's almost like giving G-string. It's giving like you've got a few threads holding that outfit together. Do you find that you are, because of the cardio stuff of the show, you're obviously not going out after the show, are you feeling all of your sexual energy is being taken up on stage, or are you able to enjoy your life outside of it at all?
I'd say it's definitely like an outlet. The show is definitely an outlet for like feeling sexual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like versus like you go through your day, you go shopping, you do your chores or whatever. You're not necessarily, feeling sexual. Whereas with this part in the show, I'm always sort of highly aware of people like staring at me, staring at my crotch, staring at my ass, even just in like the regular scantily clad, costumes that I have, and not the jockstrap, and I'm fully like, besides the like moment of reveal, I'm fully then on stage in it for like at least, like 10, 15 minutes of stage action, talking to some of the stage managers, like people like, how did I lose? Was those carbs? I shouldn't have carb loaded before, and whatever the banter is.
Yeah.
And so then it's charged. There's one guy. I mean, people obviously, like some guys like try to give you their number, like in the middle of Skimble Shanks. Yo, come over here. I want to talk to you. You're cute. Like literally, I'm like doing stage action in the middle of singing, and they're like trying to talk to me. One guy, oh my God, it was so funny. Every single time I looked over at him, he'd go,
Stop it right now.
Every time, to the point where by the fourth time of like 50 times, it would crack me up every time.
Listen,
so there's this sexual outlet.
Nothing gets between a gay man and his lust, and even if it's a full Broadway show and a full production.
Yeah, let me talk to you for a minute. Let me talk to you.
Oh my God.
But then like, so outside of the show, maybe on Sundays after the show, I'll consider going out. I just, on a school night, it's never going to happen for me. I am really nervous about going to public places in general because of colds. And they're just like everywhere. And so Brooke Lynn Hytes came and was a guest judge last Sunday, and she's a friend. So afterwards, we went out to Paradisco at the Standard and turned it like with Mistopheles, and had a time, and actually another brand new experience for me, which moving here as a teenager and like having to sneak into clubs or like wait in lines or whatever. We had like a group with us. It was like 6 people, and we'd come from the show. So we got out of the cab, and, we're waiting behind like the stand with the rope. And I'm in the back, and, we kind of go up, and then the door person's like is waiting for a second, and then sees me and goes, whoever's with him, his group, come right on in. Came like, I walked up to, I was like, and I walked up to the front, and they were like, I love you in Cats. I came with Connie, legendary door Connie, and was like, Cats is my everything, and I love what you guys are doing. Meet me at the back bar when you get upstairs, and I'll have drink tickets for you.
Come on
Treated us
now.
like royalty, the whole group. It was crazy.
You know what?
So
Isn't that like in a beautiful way? Like, sure, it's a example of how this production is touching people's lives. But if we zoom even more out in a woo woo way, I live in LA, so I have to be a woo woo bitch. But there's like the years of you taking the bull by the horns as a teenager moving to New York and sacrificing so much of your life to like climb the ladder and get to Broadway and work so hard. And now we can, in addition to the hard work, enjoy the fruits of our labor, because it's just so cool to see us watching somebody who's worked so hard. And because we know about how you're doing now, I think it only makes sense to go into your lore. So I'm going to ask you, Sydney James Harcourt, the famous podcast question, which is, whose fault is it that you're gay? Who do we blame, babe?
well, I feel like there's a couple. There's a couple sources of blame. I'd say the first one is Hanes, because of the sexy underwear boxes that they made.
Yep.
And like in my like earliest gay awakenings, which was around 10 years old, which is when I sort of like realized what gay meant, and that was what I was. I also realized that like I had this like just sort of fascination with other boys, like,
Mhm.
and like the way their sweatpants fell and like what's in there. And if I was go shopping with my mom or we'd walk to TJ Maxx or something, I would be like, I'm gonna go look at socks or something, and then I
Yep.
would very like discreetly walk through the underwear aisle. And like I'm a male child in an underwear section, a male's underwear section, so it's
Just sort
fine,
of,
right?
yeah.
It's fine. But here I am, like just really trying not to like stare, but catch a glimpse at the underwear box so that I can
Of
like look at
course.
it.
The amount
Um,
of gay boys who have spent hours studying the boxes of Hanes packaging in TJ Maxx's around the globe and Dillard's and Macy's and
mhm.
I mean, it's just a
Coles.
Coles, if you're nasty. It's a tale as old as Tiempo, and I love that underwear keeps coming up in this interview already, because the Rum Tum Tugger of it all, wearing the jockstrap, the Hanes of it all. As a gay journalist, can you tell the listeners what Sydney James Harcourt is currently sporting? Are you a brief king? Are we boxer brief? Are we something else? What's happening on this
I'm a
day?
boxer brief
Yeah.
guy, and I wear a brand called Beneath,
Mm.
um, that they're like kind of thin and sort of cooling, so they're good. But the thing I love about them the most is that they have like a pouch in the front, so to keep the boys from sliding back too far.
Listen,
And
support is important emotionally
yeah,
and bulgularly. So you said that Haynes hath made you gay.
yeah.
You grew up in.
Also the mailman.
Oh, wait, say more.
So there's Haynes, obviously, and then as I said, like the boys at school. But my God, the mailman in my neighborhood, he was so fine. Oh,
Mm, mm,
and like short, tight shorts and
mm,
stocky, hairy legs. And I
mm.
just loved when he would come to the door. It was just my favorite thing. And I don't know. I mean, he had to know, like, if he ever like delivered something to the door, I'd open the door. I'd be like, hi.
Listen, I co-sign that there is something about a uniform, whether it is the U.S. Postal Service or
UPS.
if you're nasty, if it's a doctor, if it is a military man, there's something. I truly have also seen many a mailman that I would love to devour, and I think that's probably why, like, the Legally Blonde trope of it all with the U.S. Wait. Is that what mail delivery service does the Legally Blonde guy work in that comes to deliver a package to Orfeh / Jennifer Coolidge? Is he UPS? I think he might be UPS. Is he FedEx?
I don't think it's FedEx. I think it's UPS.
Okay, well, we support his truth, but yeah, I also love your appreciation of a strong hairy leg. I think that's important for us to really double down on too.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say then that you are a size queen in terms of height? Do you find that you are being pulled towards someone towering above, powerfully crouching below? What's your height feelings?
I think that sexy guys truly come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It really is a lot of it for me is about like confidence and game. I just, a confident guy is in and of itself like a sexy thing. Confident in their personality and who they are and what they're trying to, they're offering. I will say that it is a more unique experience for me in life to be with someone who makes me feel like a smaller guy. So there is an allure to that. But it's not, say, something that is a determining factor for me.
Listen, we all have the things that get us soaking wet, but it doesn't mean that we only subscribe to that one specific thing. Now, since there are a few things I want to make sure to land on in this chat. Not only the State of BroadWAY, talking about sort of as the Tony Awards approach, the final show has just opened. So I want to get your guess on what might win Best Musical. But before that, it would be against my religion to not talk about Interlochen as someone who had some formative experiences there. For people who don't know, Interlochen is like this world-renowned boarding school during the year for students to study all of the arts over the summers. It's a really great camp. You're wearing uniforms. It's very regimented. It's very intense. You double majored in voice and dance at Interlochen. And obviously the creative part of it I find to be really exciting. I mean, it really was huge for me, but I never got my first gay experience, which is what I wanted when I was there. I was too afraid. I was too closeted. I was not ready. Was that where you had your first gay experiences, or was it not till after?
I came out there.
Oh, really?
I did. One of the reasons I was so excited to go there is because I just Detroit public schools were a nightmare for me. And I really wanted to be somewhere where I knew I could at least tell one person. And so that I did that almost right away because I'm not somebody who likes to have secrets that I have to always be negotiating around. It's too much brain power. I just don't have the time for it. And I'm an Aries. I'm just really so that in terms of being able, it was definitely a gay experience for me to finally be able to in a school body feel like I can express myself and to never have to apologize about some things, to wear crazy things. I wore shoes with rainbow soles in middle school in Detroit one day, and they roasted me. And at Interlochen, we could wear we had a whole department of fashion. So we could wear something that somebody had knitted, and it's just covering your crotch and half of your body, right? It's just, and in these dance classes, I'm in tights and and then in these unitards and costumes and putting on makeup. So that experience, yes. I never, I really, I mean, I didn't even have sex more than blowjobs until I was 26.
Oh, interesting. What would you say was the factor that led you to wait till then?
Well, in terms of just the sex part, I had this insane notion that I was gonna wait until I had like met my true love, like my boyfriend.
Girl,
And
you're not alone. I had the same. It's a Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. I think it's a Midwestern thing. It's like we wanted to do the straight thing.
Right. And you just feel like, oh no, it's special.
Yes.
And whatever. But then also just on a level, I just I wasn't attractive to the people I was attracted to.
Oh.
Um, I often was just like devastated by people who were just like, yeah, I'm just not into you. Um, and that persisted for a while. And the gay community, at least like at large in New York, um, I mean, it's less so now, but when I first moved here, was just very, very, very like white centric, and it was pervasive in the spaces at least where I was,
Yeah.
and I just wasn't somebody who was looked at as attractive in that way. Um, and it led me to not feel attractive, really,
Ugh.
truly. Like had to go through some stuff in my late teens and like very early 20s where I had to like get my head right and stop sending myself negative messages about how I looked all the time. Because I would like, it got to the point where I would cover the mirrors in my house my apartment, so that I wouldn't look at myself as I walked by and say something shitty in my head.
Ugh.
I felt too pretty. Underneath this beard, Henny, this skin is porcelain, Henny. And so I just felt like I wasn't like rugged. I just wasn't what anybody was looking for. But then, around 26, I started like being able to travel a little more. I was played on a gay volleyball league, and we traveled all over the place doing, like tournaments and whatnot. And I was having like some cool hookups like throughout the Midwest and like things, where like things were a little more open-minded. Um, and and that's around the time where I was dating a guy who that I met through the volleyball league, who was straight, but then like came out. He was just in the training portion of it. He did that on Saturdays, and like and we became best friends. And I just really thought we were friends. I'm so stupid. And then one day he just kind of like told me like he wanted to kiss me, and then we like started this like torrid affair, and it was such a mess. And like he like had all of these like horrible, horrible baggage. And, especially for somebody who's been out since they're 15, and here, we're both, 25, and he's just trying it out. And he wants me to meet his family, and he wants to come out to them. And then his friends are like, "You're not gay." And he's like, "Maybe you're right." And then he moves all this stuff. After that, I was like, all right, enough with this love stuff. I just want to be out there having sex. Like, I want to know what that's like. I want to know what it's about. And I'm going to start my like horror era, and not, I don't want to date. I actively do not want to date. Like, I want to focus on my career. I don't want to have any emotional like disabilities, because it felt like when you have your heart ripped out, like it's so hard to recover.
Oh my God, yes.
And I was just like, no more of that. I'm done with that. And so, we were talking about Interlochen, um, and I, wonderful place, and I do think a haven for me to be able to express myself as an artist and to learn to just live as a gay person.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't a place to have like my first sexual experience. For others, baby, they are fucking like bunnies. They are having all kinds of sex in practice rooms, and they're going to hate me at Interlochen for saying this, but it's true because years later I hear about it from the students, like about the stuff that they were doing, and like and you know how like they had all of these like crazy experiences, and you know it just wasn't me. I was still such a like goody two shoes. And the first double major, by the way, I went there as a classical voice major. I started taking general dance as my physical education credit, and then got drafted into the dance department when one of the boys hurt themselves, tore their rotator cuff and couldn't do the Arabian pas de deux in Nutcracker. So they asked me if I would try learning it.
Look at this.
And I did, and I was really good at it. And then I asked if I could be a double major. And then from that point forward, it was music in the morning and then 6 hours of dance in the afternoon, 6 days a week.
Blazing
my life.
A gosh darn trail. I mean, it's probably why you weren't horny and fucking in Interlochen, is because you were too busy doing a million classes and juggling all that. But it's also, I think, listen, Interlochen can't be upset. If you put a bunch of gay kids in a boarding school in a beautiful location, there's going to be a lot of body fluids, and they can't expect anything else. I also think it's relatable.
Well, there are kids, so they're all gay,
right? I also want to just like co-sign that you waited a few years into your 20s to explore like that, because I was, you know, more or less the same way. And I think that oftentimes we can look back with regret over not, you know, allowing ourselves to explore more earlier, but you clearly weren't ready until you were ready. And I think that it's really important to sort of like give care to our younger self, and then all we can do is look to the future. And whether it's being slutty or whether it's something creative, it's just like we're ready when we're ready.
Yeah. Well, you know, just another side note. When I was in middle school, like, and so I'd already, you know, kind of knew about myself, but I wasn't telling anybody.
Yeah.
I had a best friend, a very best friend, and we had then like a group of friends like that sort of were in the neighborhood, and also like people we went to school with that we'd play like, you know, sports with, or we would ride bikes with, or we would do whatever. We'd hang out, go and have adventures, go in the woods, whatever. And I was totally in love with him. He was beautiful, but obviously I was never going to like say anything. He was like more popular than me at school. He was like way more athletic and like, you know, just like beautiful blonde, whatever. Years later, the Hamilton movie comes out. He finds me. He's married. He's got 3 kids. But he says, I followed your career. I'm so sorry we lost contact after high school, and like, but I, you know, have always been trying to like find you, and finally like I found this profile and like hit you up, and like, so he wanted to meet again and like reconnect, and like we met up, and then he confesses to me that like not only is he gay, like that he was attracted to me the whole time, and he thought I would have a bad reaction if he said something about it. So he never brought it up. But he was having sex with all our friends.
Oh!
And that made me like, what? You were doing it with Garrett and not me?
You wanted his peanut butter cookie.
Hey. But at any rate, I don't have regrets about it. I don't have regrets about any of that. No, I mean, I'm not a regret guy. I do believe that, like, you know, I think it's important for people to believe that there's like a path and like that the universe is looking out for us, and that we can't maybe see why things are happening, but that they are the right thing that are going on for us.
Listen, let's breathe it all in, girls. The universe has a journey for us in mind, and all we can do is be our authentic selves and look to the future. But I'm going to look into the future at an invasive question. Was that blonde guy that you connected back with, was he married with children with a woman or was he with
He was.
Oh.
He was a woman. Yep. And she was a horrible rock troll. And she was awful. Oh my God.
Are you saying she was awful when you reconnected with him? She was there too?
Oh no, so not at first, but then like she knew that he was like coming over to meet me, and she didn't, I think, know that he was telling me all this stuff, but she knew that that he had a crush on me. So he wanted her to come over. Like he was going to come over again. He was like, I want to bring my wife over so you can meet her. And it was like at my mom's house in Michigan. This is like during COVID. I had escaped from New York to Michigan for COVID. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And, in the same way that like straight guys who are curious always want to like bring their wives to something for like protection or feel like they've got to bring their wives, be whatever. And so she was evil. You could tell the jealousy that she felt that she's finally confronted with the person that her husband has been for years talking about and like obsessing about and like, whatever. She was not cute.
Girl.
She had like, it was like the embodiment of all of the negative energy that I guess she harbored. I was after that visit. I mean, she was so rude. She was so rude to him. She kept like putting him down and he would laugh it off. And it made me so angry because I just wanted to slap her in her mouth and like, don't you talk to my friend like that. But I just realized like, I can't have this drama in my life. And it was very, 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 very painful decision for me because I loved him so much to have to kind of stop contact with that. Because anytime we had contact, it was like, oh, I just want to come across this room right now and like, whatever. And I didn't really feel that way anymore.
Well, especially with the baggage, I think that it doesn't exactly.
Can you imagine? She'd come over and kill me in my sleep.
Yeah, no, ma'am. Also, this woman should have been smart enough to grease up the wheels so that she could watch her husband and the beautiful Sydney James Harcourt go downtown. Like, we send her. She
could have been smart.
She could have been smart and had a heated rivalry moment, and yet here's
the whole thing. Like, he told me that she had trapped him into marriage by like putting like holes in the condom or something like that like she got pregnant with whatever and then and he so he was with one of those and he just got trapped into it and he was gullible and stayed and
well what we're doing right now then is sending them positivity, and we hope that they both find the space in their lives to be who they are at their highest vibration. I hope he gets railed in the way that he wants. I hope she finds self-love, and I hope that their kids are okay. Wow, and
bro, if you're listening, like, this is why we kind of fell off and stopped talking. And so if you ever want to get back in touch, know that like you've got to come correct and she can't be around.
I just got chills from the stakes of this interview in a way that is just really important. And Sydney James Harcourt coming with receipts and stories. Wait, since you're being so honest about this lore, let's get into the state of Broadway, because I feel like there's some controversy happening. First of all, the Tony Awards are, like the Super Bowl for us gays, especially as a theater queen myself. Do you have just like a gut reaction to who do you think is going to win Best Musical? If it's going to be between, I think people are saying it's going to be between Two Strangers, Carry a Cake Across New York, Lost Boys, Schmigadoon, and Titanic. Queen of Versailles and Beaches has not
Queen of Versailles.
I'm saying those are not. I'm saying those are not. I'm saying the ones that have not been discussed are Queen of Versailles and Beaches.
Oh.
So if it's between Two Strangers, Lost Boys, Schmigadoon, and Titanic, do you have a gut reaction as to what do you think will win Best Musical?
So I have to say this, not having seen anything.
Oh, yeah.
because I've been in lockdown.
Right.
Um, uh, I myself, and this is no shade to, any running show, am not a person who believes in movie to musical transfers.
Yeah.
I think it's lazy. I think that it's, I mean, I guess Schmigadoon is actually a bit of an anomaly because it was written as a musical.
Right.
So, I can probably take that away. So, but I do find the ideas to be less fresh when they have already been done in a different medium, and now we're trying to replicate, that medium. But that said, if I know one thing, it's that Alex Brightman, and that's who is the right.
Yeah, he's Schmigadoon, yeah.
He is amazing as a leading man in shows. He's one of my favorite, most charismatic Broadway leading men. Like him in Beetlejuice was Euphoria.
Yeah.
So I love you, Alex, and so I have high hopes for anything that he's in.
And let's shout out Christopher Catelli, who is a genius as well.
Chris Catelli,
yeah,
homegrown genius, and gave us For the Gays.
I mean, For the Gays, he gave us, Jen Samard and Megan Hilty belting their tits off, genius choreography, and Death Becomes Her.
Destiny's Child on Broadway. Hey.
Thank God for Michelle Williams.
Thank God.
Everything I'm reading and seeing about Schmigadoon seems like it's exceptional. I'm in love with Titanic. I'm dying to see The Lost Boys. I hear it's like a crazy spectacle.
Well, so that's the thing. Like, I've heard so much about the absolute spectacle of Lost Boys, and if there's something that I feel like warrants an award at times, it's when a show pushes the genre forward, like way forward. Now, we did have Spider-Man back in the day, but that didn't go so well. So from what I hear, this is actually going really well, and it's a different kind of thing. And the world building in that, from what I hear, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So with that said, I think that there's a huge chance from word of mouth that that's happening. I mean, Titanic is close to my heart because it's just so gay.
So gay.
And, I love the team and I love the spirit of it. But I do wonder if like a parody show is able to take the award.
Yeah.
In a field of original musicals.
Okay, great takes. And I just have to say that the way that we are discussing these musicals, I feel like is the way that it is fun. We're weighing sort of the elements of it. I found though that the current state of Broadway, there are people who are like bashing musicals that are taking it almost like it's like a political situation. Like, I don't know if you ever see the Sweaty Oracle posting insane takes about musicals. He like hated The Lost Boys and wants to make sure everybody knows what a terrible show it is. Do you think that we are in an era where people are going too far in bashing the shows that they don't like? Or do you think it's just like social media has created that environment? What do you feel about discourse around shows that people either love or don't love?
I think that truly anybody's, opinion is valid, and you either choose to watch it or you don't, and that's what kind of gives them their megaphone. I find that on Broadway, it has become a place of like, let's give a standing ovation just because. We have to. Everybody stand up. Oh, this was amazing. Everything is amazing. There's this idea that because Broadway suffered so much during COVID, that we can't say anything bad about productions because we have to keep the community alive and we have to keep shows alive. And I'm like, actually, we have to learn that audiences are only going to respond to original things that reflect the times of today and show people themselves and show people stories that are relevant and entertaining. And if you keep putting up stuff that is a regurgitated, like, old school movie back on stage now in a format when I could just watch the movie for not $365, or you know, things with a book that is so poorly thought out and so weak that you are miles ahead of it and are supposed to not care because there's a great song, then it should be talked about. And we shouldn't worry that that happens, because that's how we get new blood and new writers into the fold, because then people with talent can come in and say, hey, look at what I've got. I've got this really amazing idea, and please let me in to this very closed circle, because I promise people will get this and we'll all make money together.
Yeah.
So
no, that's
I
a good
think
point.
that the critical opinions are valid.
No, yeah. Well, 100%. I think it's like the interesting thing is that the sort of arena of criticism has changed drastically from what it used to be. Just you would see reviews in the papers and then the rest of it was word of mouth. Now everybody has a megaphone. And I think the reason why the Sweaty Oracle has grown a big account is because he is, he's like sort of sensationalizing his criticisms to the point where it can be so intense that it gets the clicks, and all of a sudden he's like gained an audience, because that's just sort of what social media thrives on, is like stoking people's anger.
They used to call Ben Brantley the butcher of Broadway.
Yes.
That time is gone. They do not review shows the way they used to.
True.
And so I think we used to have that. We used to have Sweaty Oracles who would I'm going to tear this to shreds.
Yes. And Ben Brantley did.
He did. And, it was often deserved. And it's sad. Yeah. Oh, you're putting these people out of jobs. Yes. But we'll find more jobs. That's this industry. We all get into it knowing that it might not work out and we've got to find a new thing. I don't think that you work hard in this industry and you try and choose wisely so that you can get a good review that puts you above the other show that didn't have as much. Because it kind of seems unfair when you have something so wonderful and special and amazing, and then something else opens up and everybody's trying to be nice. So they're like, go see this too, because this is amazing too. And if you like that, it's great. There were a few slow moments, but it's fine because, no. I'm not that guy.
Oh, I love it's such a refreshing take, and it's true. It's like we do not. The standing ovation after every show, I do think is an epidemic, and I struggle. But it's also,
and then people will look at you
like you're not. Yeah, when you're not.
Why aren't you standing up?
And two things can be true, which is that the art should be number one, and art is very subjective, and we should not be standing up at every show. Also, on the other side of it, Broadway is an insanely difficult industry, so I understand the people that want to be championing it, but it doesn't mean that it's like you're saying we have to give just a green flag to every show simply because it exists. It has to be.
I'm still clapping.
Yeah, and So I completely am obsessed with this take. But since we only have a few more minutes, I want to.
We're gonna need another podcast, girl.
I know, truly. This is just the surface of Broadway. It's gonna be very exciting to see all of the revivals that are competing alongside of Cats of Jellicle Ball. There's Chess, there's Ragtime, there's Sam Pingleton's The Rocky Horror Show with a crazy cast. I mean, it is very exciting to see the queerness on Broadway after last year's Oh Mary having her moment and continuing to. But final few questions to wrap us up.
Yes.
On Dads and Daddies, this is going to go a little personal, but it's important for us gay ass listeners who champion self-love. On Dads and Daddies, you said you had not jerked off in over a week since you had been so busy. Have you had a chance to release recently?
Yes.
Good. You deserve. We talk about our history sexually in terms of like over on Substack. Oftentimes we have our horniest conversations, but we're going to keep this all on the main feed. So how did it feel to talk about, I mean, Andy Cohen was the one that brought up your history first. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So that kind of gives you in a way the like green light to even just mention it. And I think that's sort of the magic of living in a place like New York, because you said that when you and Andy Cohen had your lust affair, you called it, it was before he had Watch What Happens. It was before he was, capital A Andy Cohen. So when you look back on this, is it just like a hot, fun tale? Do you have any wishes for a rekindling? What's your relationship to the Andy Cohen of it all?
So number one, lust affair is actually a term that he used on his podcast that Dads and Daddies brought.
I see. Okay.
Yes, but apt. So I have no problem using it. It's descriptive and correct. When you are like a sexual person in New York City and you sometimes develop these like friendships with your tricks, for lack of a better term, that you really like the person. It's really easy and drama free. You don't know like a ton about their life. They don't know a ton about yours. And that is part of the reason why there's no drama. And so it can really be about this extracurricular fun, and you guys are connecting on this level that is so pleasurable and intense, that like it's its own sort of like, it doesn't need a definition, it doesn't need parameters, kind of thing. Can he still get it? Absolutely. And is it a possibility? Absolutely. Andy and I have talked since the taping and even recently, and things are great.
Listen, I love that so much. It's so fun to even just be a fly on the wall of the story. And I think that there is obviously zero shame around it. And we celebrate the fact that we're just living our lives in New York or beyond. And if it happens to be Rum Tum Tugger and Andy Cohen having a rekindling to that.
And that's new for me. I mean, I've always been very private about that kind of thing. We met on Craigslist, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
But, so it's not like we were like on, Fish in the Sea. Is that a lesbian dating app? Maybe I have that wrong. But that said, I knew when I was going on the show as a bartender.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Girl, same.
Right. I knew when I was going on the show that it was potential that it was going to come up, and I used my Tugger mantra that I believe, and from the artists I love, Doechii, I believe that authenticity in who you are and like owning your shit is the best way to get people who, are vibing with you to like want to follow you, because you're authentic and they can smell a phony from a mile away. And then also, this way I own it. And nobody else is like, well, actually, I don't mind like gotcha question, Sydney, but I've heard that, and then you're like, no.
Yeah, there's no gotcha.
No. There's no gotcha. You just wish you were there.
Hello.
And that's all there is to it. You keep imagining it,
and
until we start our OnlyFans.
Eggs, and you know what? We will be here to support in any way that you would like us to, OnlyFans and beyond. Sydney James Harcourt, what a gosh darn treat to have had you on this gay ass podcast. You are being so deliciously authentic, and that is why I'm going to ask you the final podcast question, which is: if the world was ending and you can only save one character actress, who would you save?
Okay, so I have two prepared.
Great.
In case my first one I can't save because we lost her. And that's
we can bring
Catherine
her back. We can.
O'Hara.
Oh my God, bring her. Yeah, we're bringing her back and we're saving her. Catherine O'Hara is a Devoon answer.
I mean, just the body of work, Beetlejuice's, the Christopher Guest.
Oh my God.
And then the crowning achievement of Moira Rose. I wasn't ready. I was now ready to like ride into the sunset of just the golden era of cameos and like the characters that made you pee your pants in movies. And then we lost her. And so if I could save her, and I just want to cherish her.
I just want to say too that it's not only a great answer, but I've now read another interview where I think it was Dan Levy saying for Schitt's Creek that Catherine O'Hara would do the same thing that Seth Rogen said she would do for the studio, which is she would rewrite some of her scenes with her genius takes the night before shooting, and they would be like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And then she would just level up every single scene that she was in. And it speaks to her, yes, like artistry, her mind, but also the fact that she can do that and then her collaborators are not mad at her, but actually green light it, just shows that she is a egoless, genius person. But I'm dying to know your second answer. Catherine O'Hara was one. Who's your number two? Who's the other?
Okay. It's Keira Knightley.
We love the jaw. We love the jaw tension.
Well, yeah. Yes. She was this child. She just wowed us and bend it like Beckham. And we were like, who is this bitch? And then she just was so beautiful in films. And then there was, is it Mrs. Brown? Wait, what is the period film that she does where the Duchess? Oh, the Duchess. Talk about like the runway of our time. Like Runway video just got released. Go back and watch the Duchess. The fashions she's wearing is so fucking cunt. She is amazing in that movie.
I haven't seen it. I know.
I'm so happy for you.
I can't wait.
To not have seen the Duchess, I would do a total recall and erase my brain to be able to watch it again for the first time. Now, have you seen Black Swans?
Oh my
Netflix?
God. Yes.
So
I'm a Keira Knightley stan. I think that she is the fact that she can go from Bend It Like Beckham to then doing these period pieces to then have a character in Love Actually where she goes, I look quite pretty, and us to still like her, I think is really astounding. And she is another stunning answer. And you, Sydney James Harcourt, continue to slay at every turn in this gay ass chat. But sadly,
I'm gonna give an honorable mention.
Oh, please.
To Tatiana Maslany.
Yes.
I mean,
great answer.
She's still got so much time. But my God, I binged through Orphan Black.
Yes.
This winter, and I was late. What? So, yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to then shout out a friend of mine is named Michael Schwartz, and he had a short film that Tatiana Maslany was in, and it was my first time seeing her in anything, and she was fucking incredible. And so,
what's the film?
The film is called Snatch, and it is so great. It's the cast is great. Misha Oshirovich is in it, who is an amazing trans actor and just so brilliant on screen. So yeah, Snatched with Tatiana Maslany, directed and written by my my dear friend Michael Schwartz. So yeah, that's a shout out to him. And Tatiana, another character actress.
Who's always doing stuff with gay characters in it.
Yes.
And in that series, like they have a bunch of Cats jokes. Cats the musical jokes. So
well, I mean, Cats is, pervasive in all of culture, in all the ways, all the good and
the awful.
And thank you. Sydney James Harcourt, how can people follow you? Where can they follow you? Is there anything else you would like for them to know?
I'm Sydney Harcourt, at Sydney Harcourt on Instagram. That's like the best place. I have a website that has almost no information on it. And that's really it. Come and see the show. Or you can find me at the club.
Hey,
on Sunday nights
with either Brooke Lynn Hytes or somebody else.
Right. It's either going to be like on the standard, maybe the Eagle, another good choice for me.
And I co-sign, and now I'm going to manifest to run into you at the Eagle on a Sunday night. And I cannot wait for us to continue to talk character actresses and sexualite and whatever the brunch comes up. Sydney James Harcourt, everybody go see him in Cats the Jellicle Ball on Broadway. And I hope that this is not thank you for the pits. I hope this is not the only time we get to chat. So I will manifest that I'll be seeing you again, and I look forward to it.
Yes, please. I'm open to it anytime. I love this.
Shout out.
That's a gay ass name for a gay ass podcast.